Anybody out there?
And now, live from Manchester,
Hello to you all from the north.
oh dear.
Good night. Bloody hell, milk it, that bit, I would. Oh, there we go. That's Morrissey and Boy Racer. It's funny because the word stopped like about halfway through, and I wonder what made them decide, like, that was enough. They carried on playing. They could have gone on for another half an hour.
Well, they do, don't they, on the LP? If you listen to Southpaw,
yes,
the track on the last track that's 11 minutes long, he stops singing after about 18 and a half seconds on that one, and it's full on flying V twin neck riff-o-rama.
It is
for the duration. Yeah.
And now wrong with that. Anyway, Mozzie, if you're listening, that Southpaw, it was in the charts for what, 3 weeks, and then it disappeared, didn't it? So what you need to do is raise your profile a bit, and the Amps have pulled out of doing a session on here on December the 4th. So we're looking for someone cheap and cheerful to stand in, and so you could do worse, Arcade, than get on here, because your mate Boy's done it. So if it's good enough for him,
it's good enough for him. And Mozzie has got some connections with this area, I believe.
He has. Yes, he has. So, I don't know, it all fits perfectly, doesn't it, really? Come on, Moz, it makes sense. Right, well, welcome to Stuart Maconie.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm not so bad at all. Well, my mood was alright until, when I checked into a leading Mancunian hotel a few, hours ago. Yes. I was met by Max Bygraves, just outside my room, not the person, but the piped music singing, "How would you like to spend Christmas on Christmas Island?" So that sort of soured my mood, I can imagine, for several days.
I thought you meant that Max Bygraves sort of fallen on hard times and was being a bellhop.
Would that I did. I once met Little Richard in a lift.
Did you?
I absolutely did. I met Little Richard in a lift, and I won't say where because it'll sound so poncified.
Right.
But it was in a foreign hotel. But,
right.
Yeah. He was very nice.
Was he little?
He was little and he was Richard. Yes.
Right. Okay. Hence the name, one would presume.
Hence the name. He looked well preserved.
Did he?
Should we say? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, he probably has. He's gone for cryonics, I believe.
Is that where you?
In the late 18th century. Yeah. Anyway, right. What have you got for us on your veritable smorgasbord?
It's a veritable smorgasbord of stuff for later on, including a great new mag that I think we'll all be delighted to look at, called Trucker's Mate.
Yes.
And we've also got Prediction Magazine. I've got some wacky stuff from the internet if we can be bothered switching the computer on.
Right.
Which I doubt if we can usually, but
yes.
And you normally ask me what I've been up to though at this point.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, Stuart, tell me, what have you been up to at this point?
Well, just to add fuel to the fire of those people who think that all music journalists are pampered aesthetes who do nothing else but fly around the world at other people's expense.
Yes.
I've been flying around the world at other people's expense. I've been on the road with them people in Vienna.
All right, that sounds quite nice, especially if you managed to miss the gig.
Only
joking.
I'll be
only joking.
No, it was...
Although the murdering of Itchy Park has got to be punishable.
Well, see, I don't agree.
No.
Because...
You like the Beatles single.
I do like the Beatles single. Are we going into the Beatles rant now? Or...
No,
okay.
We'll save that till later.
Save the bit. No, Itchy Park. I mean, it's not that good a song. In fact,
it's a brilliant song, Itchy Park.
Well, in fact, I'd go further than that. I'd say, if you're going to do cover versions all night tonight,
yes.
Well, I was just saying there are some cover versions that are better than the original. So just to fling down the gauntlet.
It's a small plastic gauntlet.
Just to fling down that small plastic big gauntlet. I'll say it's better than the Small Faces original. Along with the Human League's You've Lost That Loving Feeling.
Yeah.
And the Pet Shop Boys, You Were Always on My Mind.
Well, the counter-argument to that is you're talking bollocks, Stuart.
Yes, there is. And the counter-argument to that is where I just pick things up now and just start loving them at you, isn't it?
Yeah, the gauntlets.
Vienna was very nice, though.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year, because everyone wears furry hats and drinks hot chocolate, and the Vienna Boys choir are sort of wandering about. But they do. I did make this discovery that you can buy it in England now. Am I allowed to give the name of a proprietary brand of soft drink?
I would have thought so.
Red Bull.
Right.
Have you seen that Red Bull thing?
Never heard of it.
It comes in a can and it looks like the Blackburn Rovers, old Blackburn Rovers kit, the blue and white quarter thing.
Right.
And it's a soft drink.
Hence the name Red Bull.
Hence
the blue
the
and white
name
quarter.
Red Bull. It's the Viennese, They've had a long and troubled history, the Viennese.
With understanding red. Yeah.
And they drink it as a mixer, right, in strong drinks. Let's say, plug in something from the vodka.
Right.
So you have about 8 of these. What they don't tell you is that Red Bull has got about 25 times the caffeine of a cup of coffee.
Right.
Really has. So you think you go down the quiet evening down the pub, you have 3 or 4 Red Bulls, and that's it. 5:30 in the morning, find you drumming your fingers on the table watching CNN, unable to sleep. So if you're looking, if you are a trucker, for instance, looking to stay awake on that overnight to Bruges, I can recommend Red Bull, and I expect a case of it now tomorrow, don't I?
Right, okay, we'll have more from Stuart in his new Viennese mixer spot at the same time next week. Teenage Fanclub with Don't Look Back from their new acoustic EP, which is out on the 4th of December, and sometime around that date they'll be on the programme doing a repeat acoustic session type things.
Will they? Well,
yes, they will, yes.
Can I come when they do?
Of course you can.
I just, because I'd like to remind everyone now, because it comes that time of year when people have to fill in what they thought their favourite record of the year was, their favourite album of the year.
Yeah.
So I think we should remind everyone that it's Grand Prix by Teenage Fanclub.
It was up there. It was certainly up there.
The fannies are in danger of being overlooked, and they are just the most fantastic thing in the world, I think so.
Right. Well, I wouldn't go quite, I mean, I'm a big fan. Wouldn't go quite that far myself, but
why not?
It's right up
You got a problem with them then?
You want to make something of it, Carl?
Yeah, why not?
Right, okay then. Anyway, so you were saying there's an interesting recording feature about that.
Well, only that unless I've got the completely wrong end of the stick.
Which is extremely unlikely.
I will get the wrong end of that stick and I will run with it up the wrong tree as far as you can throw me. But the, I think that is from that Teenage Fanclub have Lost It EP, is it called, isn't it? And, am I right in saying that? Isn't it called Teenage Fanclub?
Plain blue cover here.
Isn't it called Teenage Fanclub have Lost It? Because I thought it was a very funny title.
Where is it?
Have a look. I think I've made this up, haven't I?
Well, it doesn't say here if it is.
Right,
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong.
But I think that they were recorded in Raymond McGinley's front room, all of the things on that record. Right. And I believe that they didn't start until about 2 o'clock in the morning, at which stage they were at an advanced stage of inebriacy. And who knows, quite a few Red Bulls might have been popped. But yeah, recorded in the front room, unless I haven't got the wrong end of the stick.
Right, okay. I mean, flipping out. I mean, I hope you've got that right, because if you haven't, what a...
Jeremy Paxman has to worry about these things, doesn't he?
Anyway, now, the Beatles then. There's been this launch this week of the single, of course. It seems to be preposterous. The single was under armed guard. There was a press launch of the video where camera crews were forced to turn their backs. I mean, it's only a pop record. It
is only a pop record, but you can see that, I mean, it's the first new Beatles material in 25 years, isn't it? So you can see, and they were the best pop group ever in the history of recorded sound. So you can see that there will be some anticipation.
Discuss, yeah. Throwing up the gauntlet. Where's my gauntlet?
Yours is better than mine.
I know, yeah, I know. I take a bigger gauntlet.
I think, and I was dreading it, particularly when I found out that it was a 1977 Lennon demo recorded at the piano while he was baking bread in his, what's it called, that building? The Dakota building.
Dakota, yeah.
Because by that point, Lennon had lost it, really, hadn't he?
Well, I just wonder what was going, what was going to be next. Is it going to be like, his answer phone messages with Ringo going, our songs recorded in the bath where they bubble it, strawberry feels, Yoko, have we run out of Radox again? I mean, I just thought, where's the quality control?
That's Radox in inverted commas, is it? No, you're having a pop at Ringo now, aren't you? Ringo, right? He wasn't the best drummer in the world.
I know,
he wasn't the best drummer in the Beatles.
I'm just doing a bit of syncopation.
No, I was dreading it because I thought, what will it be? It'll either be that, he was, beautiful boy rubbish, or it'll be one of his slender, political tracts, because Lennon's grasp on politics was never very, rigid at the best of times, was it? But,
I was never quite sure how the beddings for peace was supposed to work.
How was that supposed to work?
But everybody stays, everybody's supposed to get in with a hot water bottle and fluffy bunny Jim Jams on, are they?
That's right.
Sort of world peace.
And a man flies around the world first class to the Amsterdam Hilton. He plays a grand piano and says, "Imagine no possessions. It's easy for you to try." Well, you start, John.
Well, yeah.
I'll get rid of my record collection from, after you.
It's also simple, isn't it? Now you mention it. I mean, instead of all NATO airstrikes and that, all they need to do is deliver everybody a goblin tea's made, and it'd have been sorted, wouldn't it? Perfect.
But having mocked the Beatles and John Lennon, I think that single's really good. Because I think it sounds a bit eerie, don't you?
I think it sounds a bit ELO-y.
Do you? That's because it's Jeff Lynne, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he produced it.
Yeah, well, there you go. But I think it's good anyway. And I fancy it might get to number 1.
Oh, do you? Right. It'll probably get to number 2 with Robson and Jerome. Now, that would be the ultimate indignity, wouldn't it? The Beatles reform, and still Robson and Jerome are number 1.
I think Robson and Jerome might just as well go around to Paul McCartney's gaff individually and smack him across the face, haven't they? Which one's Robson and which one's Jerome, by the way?
Who cares?
I don't care.
Anyway, now then, in your search for bizarre publications, I think you want to make an appeal before we go into this.
Oh, yes, I do. I want to make an appeal because Uncle Tony's told me about a magazine.
I'd just like to point out that was my chair and not my bowels.
Oh, well, you say that. But,
well, I do say that, yeah.
From the huge magenta gas clouds now circling the studio, I fear you're wrong. Uncle Tony told me about a magazine called The Router. Yeah. Which is about people who wrote. And I gather wrote in his kind of grooving a bit of a channel in wood with a small handheld tool. I'm beside myself with excitement about it. So,
well, there's a magazine devoted to
a
this.
magazine. I mean, I can believe a pamphlet, but not an actual magazine. But if anybody can get hold of a copy of the Router, perhaps routing is your thing, send me a copy of the Router, please.
Right.
And now I also want to do another appeal now, because it's not beyond the bounds of possibility that truckers listen to this programme, is it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, yes.
Do you think, well, I want to know, well, if you are a trucker and you listen to this programme, I want you to let me know about it, and your routes, etc., because I've become immersed in the world of trucking since finding this new magazine, Trucker's Mate, which is top quality. It is volume 1, number 2.
Yes.
Volume 1, though, I fear may be a little ambitious. So, something tells me you might be in the old chicken counting premature hatching situation there. Because before I digress, but my favourite magazine of this ilk was What Karaoke, which was a huge magazine, What Karaoke, and I feel it only lasted one issue because there was an inbuilt design flaw in it, and that is, how many times in your life are you going to buy a karaoke machine?
But isn't there what mobile phone, isn't there?
There's What Mobile Phone. Yeah. Well, you can kind of understand that. But
why? I can't. But anyway, I mean...
Oh, no, you're right.
This is like...
Absolutely right.
Shouldn't there be some sort of psychology? Instead of being volume 1, number 1, surely what you should start with is volume 17, number 45, because people think, Christ, I've missed all these!
That's a very... But the Trucker's Mate are still trying to find out who their target audience are.
I'm just lighting a fag with this gauntlet.
They're trying to find out who the audience are because there's a little questionnaire you can fill in, and it is lovely. I'm not saying they've stereotyped the average trucker, but where do you normally stop to eat? Motorway service area, transport cafe, or lay-by kiosk? Now, why is Langham's Brasserie not there? Why,
that's a bit prejudging, isn't it?
Why is a little Italian place I know off the Scotch corner not there? That is prejudging truckers and their eating habits. What takeaway food do you buy? Fish and chips, Chinese, pizza, Indian, other. Please specify. And you can tell that other's a bit grudging, isn't it? Is it quail's eggs, actually? Do you tell me about that? What entertainment facilities do you have in your cab? Satellite TV? You can get that in a cab.
Well, it's like these trucks, I mean, I'm not familiar with them really, but they sort of got a small maisonette on the front where the cab used to be in the old days, haven't they? They sleep in there, and in fact, I think they sublet for holiday homes if they park it somewhere nice, yeah.
Do they? Do you smoke? Yes, no. If yes, but number 1 is roll your own. I'm saying that's stereotyping the noble trucker into a man who rolls his own fags.
You're edging your bets here, aren't you?
The book reviews are just wonderful. An Illustrated History of Excavators. Hinton J. Sharon's Illustrated History of Excavators is the first publication to major on this subject.
Well, that's a strange thing, isn't it?
Since Peter Grimshaw's... Since Peter Grimshaw's excellent, if wordy, Excavators. Now, I thought that, didn't you? I looked at old Grimshaw's Excavators, I said, it's good, it's dense. It's too dense, it
is.
I love, if anybody's thinking of the stocking filler for the man who has everything, what about Florian Flughaven's the fire departments of Frankfurt Rhine-Main Airport? Can you believe that?
It's either that or the Rupert Annual, isn't it, really?
It is, indeed. Or Heavy Haulage and Abnormal Loads, Volume 2.
But that's the psychology. There is no Volume 1. They're just making you go around the shops, and that's the psychology we were talking about.
This covers the period 1970 to date. So that's, but if you're a 60s heavy haulage buff, when things were, it was like free love heavy haulage and all that. You won't find that interesting. There's also a great competition, which is a picture of 6 women, and it says, win 500 quid by naming the date, which I assume means so what, I just put Sandra.
Right.
Denise.
I thought you meant you just had to say what the date was, today.
Again, I fear you misunderstand me for comic effect. And in the Trucker's Mate Trucker's Mate soapbox is where you get a chance to sound off about trucking problems. And Ray of Penge has a point, and I think this will strike a chord with listeners everywhere. With our long hot summer now fading memory, 80% of drivers will abandon their shades until next year. But anyway, the point of this letter, yes, get on with it, Ray. He's worried about sunglasses. Not Polaroids, not Ray-Bans, which actually do the job, but those 2 bits of black glass in cheapo frames. In my view, a good percentage of accidents, near misses and heart-in-your-mouth incidents are a result of what the driver was wearing. Yes, you've got it. Dark glasses would leave you a full hand of change out of a fiver. So that's it. The biggest curse facing the nation's truckers. Cheap sunglasses don't bother me. But when I get to do railway passengers, mate, cheap Walkman headphones. That is the real bugbear, isn't it? Because it's like, it's 6 quid for a decent pair, and it's £5 for a rubbish pair. So don't do it. Don't have those ones that look...
Well, that's one of the great misnomers of our time, isn't it? Personal stereo.
Yes.
When everybody else can hear it. So, right, so Trucker's Mate is Stuart's chosen publication of the week.
And I've got to say before we go, that I've just realised, Illustrated History of Excavators is published by one Paul Heaton. So the spiky left-wing balladeer is broadening his scope by day. Yeah.
Right, okay then. Stuart Maconie with Trucker's Mate. How much is it, actually? Because people will be rushing out to get this.
It's £1.95. And don't misunderstand what I'm saying now, but get it now while stocks last, if you see what I mean.
Right, sound advice.
Mark Radcliffe, missing you already.